biggest climate catastrophe in the world today is air pollution, primarily in the developing world. We're talking India, we're talking China, we're talking elsewhere.
What is at stake is the health of ecosystems, wildlife, and importantly, the world we leave for our children.
Now to a dire warning about climate change. According to a new report, experts say that we have until 2030 to avoid catastrophe. It also says if unprecedented changes are not made and made soon, there will be irreversible damage to the planet.
The history of climate change started around the late 19th century due to the start of the Industrial Revolution. With the start of the Industrial Revolution, fossil fuels became a very popular form of energy, even though this fuel was abundant in the environmentally damaging carbon dioxide emissions.
Climate change has already impacted our economy and will continue to have its effects as global warming becomes a more urgent issue. While governments are taking measures and passing bills and laws to hinder climate change, it's not nearly enough. Glancing at other evidence, such as the map above, have found of continually increasing surface temperatures. Therefore, the government needs to interfere or take stricter actions and find a way to further discourage consumers from contributing to global warming. In recent years, economics has been shifting towards conserving energy and cutting emissions. According to Open Secrets, companies involved in lobbying against climate change, including BP, Ford, BASF, Environmental Defense Fund, and more, have spent $55.8 million towards lobbying in 2018. In case you need a reminder, lobbying is when an individual or group tries to influence government decisions. In addition, companies have suggested or have started to take alternative solutions to reduce carbon emissions. For example, carbon capture is one solution used by many from the fossil fuel industry. According to Open Secrets, Shell claims to remove 3 to 4 million tons of emissions from the air, while Energy plans to use the $190 million grant from the Department of Energy to build a carbon capture facility. More alternatives include carbon tax, which is a fee imposed on the burning of fossil fuels, and is meant to discourage consumers from using such fuels. Cap and trade is a market-based approach, which limits the use of fossil fuels, where the government sets a limit on how much a company can emit greenhouse gases. Moving on to interest groups, Sierra Club and Next Gen America are among the most prominent for environment. Sierra Club is one of the most influential grassroots environmental organizations.
Our government does its part to regulate these emissions by creating things such as laws, acts, and bills. The Environmental Protection Agency, also known as the EPA, was among the first form of environmental protection created in the 1960s to consolidate many environmental responsibilities under one plan. It was created in response to the massive concern for environmental degradation brought to people's attention in the book Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. Along with the EPA, there is also the Clean Air Act. The Clean Air Act has been regulating pollutants since 1970. This act regulates air pollutants on a national scale and helps to make the air we breathe safer. It has reduced ground-level ozone, which is a dangerous gas, and has also cut lead air pollution by 92%. As of late, climate change has become a more pressing matter, as the planet's average surface temperature has risen about 1.62 degrees Fahrenheit since the start of the Industrial Revolution, and this change in temperature is expected to increase if stricter laws aren't put into place to reduce the use of fossil fuels and move to cleaner sources of energy. It is necessary that we get more government enforcement for laws regarding the environment, because if emissions keep growing at the rate they are, the changes our planet will face will be detrimental to life on Earth.
The Paris Climate Agreement is a treaty within the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It deals with greenhouse gas emissions mitigation, adaptation, and finance and was signed in 2016. A total of 146 countries have ratified and 48 countries have signed the treaty. While public opinion plays a crucial role in government involvement, it's not always taken into consideration. Even when most Americans voted for the US to be in the agreement because it supposedly reduces global warming, the Trump administration went on with its own plan and gave explanations and reasoning which did not satisfy the environmentalists. Most Americans also say that the federal government is not doing enough to protect the climate.
The current responsibilities of the EPA under the Trump administration are enforcing the nation's Clean Air and Clean Water Acts, as well as many other environmental factors. About a third of the EPA appointees, though, including the current acting administrator, formerly worked as a registered lobbyist or lawyers for fossil fuel companies, chemical manufacturers, or other corporate clients. The Trump administration and California are in an escalating fight over a range of issues, including homelessness, the environment, and immigration. The Trump administration has constantly been picking fights with California over environmental regulations recently. Last week, the administration said it will revoke a waiver that allows California to set stricter car emission standards. Janet McCabe, a former EPA member in the Obama administration, says it doesn't make sense that they are targeting California because California is already making immense progress in sustainable energy. The White House has no interest in helping California comply with the Clean Air Act to improve the health and well-being of Californians. This letter is a threat of pure retaliation, Newsom says.